You there. Mike Rogers is a CNN National Security Commentator. He is a syndicated radio host. And so don't hold any of that against him because he was a congressman from Michigan here from 2001 until 2015, chairman of the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Adrian College graduate, United States Army, FBI, and a good friend to many, many people, including myself. And it's so nice to reconnect with him through our AT&T line right this very moment. How are you?
Michael, Patrick, I am doing well. It sounds like I can't keep a job when you put it that way.
Well, you move it around. You're a moving target, that's for sure. So I got to ask you first. I have so many questions I want to ask you. I wish we were doing it over a Suds down at the Dubliner or something like that in Washington,
that would be great.
DC. But we'll do it right now for everyone else. How has the transition been from being one of the most powerful members of Congress to being in show business?
Well, it's been great. I've really actually enjoyed it. So I do the radio commentaries that are over every major market in the country, which has been great and a lot of fun. And that's been a unique challenge. As you know, it's a profession, and getting my sea legs on that has been fun and enjoyable and challenging. So I've loved that. The TV stuff is kind of what it is. I do really what I used to do when I was a member of Congress on basically trying to put into context some of the national security threats and things going on in the news of the day. So that's been great. Doing some other projects, and I've been pretty busy. And as you know, my wife, Christy, is as smart as she is beautiful. Somebody told me when I first decided to move on, I was asking people, what do you think? What do you think? And they said, well, you should take 2 or 3 weeks off. You should just take 2 or 3 weeks off, then go off and do something different. And I came home, and she knows my personality like you do, and I said, honey, maybe I should take 2 or 3 weeks off. I'm getting a lot of advice to do that. And she said, oh, you can take 2 or 3 weeks off, but you can't do it staying in this house. So I promptly made sure that I was fully engaged when I walked out the door.
Yeah, no, I think that she's 10 times as intense as you are, and that's the thing of it. How are you two getting along now that you're bumping around together? And I presume spending more time together at home in what is now, Arlington, Virginia?
Well, we still have our stuff back in Michigan, but we have a townhouse in northern Virginia, northern Arlington, Virginia, which is it's different. It's not Michigan, but it was easier to launch the media side of what we were trying to get done here. And so she's been very busy. She travels a lot to Africa and places like that, and I've been traveling across the country. So our travel schedules have not slowed down a bit, Michael Patrick. That's the one thing so that's been a little bit interesting. I used to travel overseas. Now I travel a lot more, mostly domestic, almost 100% of it.
You mean like Iowa and New Hampshire?
I have been to Iowa. I have been to New Hampshire. I have a project that I've engaged in politically called Americans for Peace, Prosperity, and Security that seeks to interject a national security discussion into the 2016 election. So opened up a chapter in Iowa and announced that, opened up a chapter in New Hampshire, and next month, I'm going to open up a chapter in South Carolina. So we're excited about that.
What do we need that for? It's the economy, stupid, right?
Well, it is the economy, but I will say one thing, that the President of the United States, after they take their oath on January 20th, and they wake up on January 21st, 2017, is going to get slapped in the face by the international challenges that face the country. And we really don't have a discussion with these candidates as they go through a presidential campaign about what will be the most difficult, most significant when it comes to protecting the homeland issues of the day. So that's why we're doing it. And interesting, it's always number 2 now. It used to be 5, 6, and 7. Americans are starting to understand, I think, what the world looks like without U.S. leadership. You just turn on your TV and you can see it. And so I think they're interested in re-engaging in this notion about peace through strength and what does that look like and what does that mean. Mm-hmm. And in order to get there, these candidates need to have a long, thoughtful discussion on it so you can kind of get a feel where they're coming from. Right now, that doesn't exist.
So I think the best case scenario, by the way, I think it's the economy stupid is one of the dumbest things anyone ever said, because it oversimplifies the job of President of the United States. However, if we are going to focus on the economy, and that's what gets people to vote, and one of these 700 Republicans running for the primary and then in the general is smart, they can focus on the economy, maybe ask you to be the running mate because you come from electoral-rich Michigan and you have all the foreign policy experience. How about that scenario?
Well, they'd have to go through my wife first. I think that would be an interesting.
Well, you just have to move
meeting.
over to the Naval
I
Observatory.
actually would pay money to see that meeting. Actually, that would be really fun.
What about the top job? Do you eye that you think about that every once in a while?
Right now I'm focused in this transition. So, politics gets in your blood. I care about the country deeply. I think you know that. So getting engaged in these important primary states that will make the decision for the next commander-in-chief and having an impact on that, I think is the right place for me right now. And so I have spent some time in those 3 states, and will continue to do that and continue to work with all the candidates. The good news is most of these candidates and campaigns are now calling us saying, hey, we want to participate in these national security forums. How do we do it? What does it look like? I've had candidates say, hey, can you brief me on national security? So we do think that the campaigns are taking a more serious look at what their national security posture is going into the 2016 election. And at the end of the day, that's a positive thing. In my mind, that's a good thing, that you're thinking about something that will be the hardest, biggest challenge you face when you walk in. That's a good day.
You know what? You know what I hear in your voice? I hear excitement and passion. I do.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah, I mean that's.
Well, I'm very excited about it.
It sure sounds like it. And are you gonna? We only have I know this happens to you every time you're on the program again, but you know what it's like now because you're in radio. 25 seconds left. Are you going to move to a 3-hour show from the vignettes, or do you like where you are now?
Well, I like where I am now. The original intent was to do that. I've asked to put that off a little bit because of these other projects. But
that helps you keep your options open. But this door is always open for you, sir.